Laura, good evening.
Good evening, Laurent.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Um, Tonight, I would like to talk to you about an important subject, and a subject I have not seen much research about, and it's ladies in the cigar scene. You have an Instagram page called Cigar Senoritas, and we met a few years ago in a cigar club, cigar happening. And since then, you've been there, like I have been part of the club. We went with a group to Cuba to the Festival de La Habana. So you're definitely part of the cigar scene, particularly the Cuban cigar scene. So I have a lot of questions for you. I apologize in advance for the title of this video, which is called "Can Ladies Smoke Cigars?" Please don't beat me up, don't insult me. Trying to get people to watch the video, so you need those titles. Obviously, I know the answer, but I think it's important to get the answer, the replies, the information from your side, how you got into cigars, how you see yourself as a lady with usually a male dominating group, because the ratio is always seems to be the same at the moment. And how also how other women, non-smokers, looking at you, maybe wives of smokers that you meet on a regular basis, how they see you in the scene, and what you can tell younger ladies who are maybe a bit shy to join a group and they feel maybe out of place, which happens sometimes even with younger men in general when they see all the guys with the hat and all the people in general. But what you can tell people how to start. And I don't know if there's a difference between a male cigar smoker or a female cigar smoker, or if you see yourself a difference. So, first of all, I got you a special cigar because I know you like the cigars. So, it's October 2015, the box, and I got this for you.
Ooh,
So,
beautiful.
I know you like these.
I do. I love me a Maduro from Cohiba.
Yes.
Definitely one of my faves.
Very good. So, when did you start smoking? When did you start this Instagram? And what was your, I would say, the beginning of the cigar experience for you?
So for me, I guess I started smoking very occasionally, maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago, but just like at special occasions or if other people were smoking. It wasn't something that I did regularly. And then about 10 years ago, I kind of picked it up more regularly, but not in a community. So I was sort of a closet cigar smoker. It was something I did by myself on the balcony, or when I went out with friends and I could smoke a cigar, maybe I would. And I only really delved into it in any serious way, maybe 6 or 7 years ago when I met our pal Jassim and the cigar community in Abu Dhabi. And I kind of became entrenched in the cigar world and learning about cigars and becoming passionate about cigars.
So it was a slow experience. You really
Yeah,
started on your own. So there was nobody at
slid
home
into it.
smoking around you that sort of got your attention. It was
When I was a kid, my dad smoked a pipe, and I made him feel incredibly guilty about it when I came home crying one day because I saw what his lungs would look like in a health textbook, and I made him stop. And we have come full circle because now I don't let him not smoke cigars with me when he comes to visit. So
So you got your
what
father
goes
into
around
smoking
comes
cigars.
around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So You started, I would say, on your own, discovering cigars. So you
Yeah.
would go to the shop, pick them up,
Yeah,
and
but I didn't really know what I was doing. I kind of knew that Romeo and Julieta was a cigar that you wouldn't be embarrassed smoking. So I would usually get that. I didn't even recognize how many brands there were or that there were so many vitolas. Like, I didn't know anything. I was sort of super amateur.
no, but that's what I think it's
But
the
that's
first.
how you
Yes,
grow
it's how
your
you do it.
appreciation. So,
You don't. Sometimes you don't even know there are more cigars than the one in your shop, and sometimes it's a small shop.
exactly. And I didn't know if I was doing anything right because nobody had ever showed me how to like correctly cut the cigar or correctly lit the cigar. But I knew that I enjoyed the cigar and that it was something that gave me some comfort and I liked the ritual of it. So I'm going to smoke this bad boy.
Okay, good idea. All right, so you started. It's very. I mean, there's usually a person responsible. Most of the people like me, it's someone who gives you your first cigar. So
Yeah.
you gave yourself your first cigar, basically.
I
You were
did.
intrigued by cigars, and you thought, "That's for me. I liked
You
it."
know what? Probably somebody gave me my first cigar, but I don't really remember who.
Okay, but okay, there is nobody
It
like
wasn't,
always smoking in front of you, like me in my case, where I got used to the cigar smoke and I liked it, and I had my first cigar. It's very strange. It's very interesting. It's very
I'm
interesting.
by nature a curious person. I like to say yes to everything until I know for sure that I don't like it. So I'm sure that the first time I smoked a cigar, it was just because it was offered and I embrace every opportunity. So I liked it enough to do it again.
Okay, so after that, you joined the. I mean, it's the way we met. It's because I came here. It's like wherever you live, wherever you move to, there's bound to be a group of people smoking cigars.
Right.
I was going to say a group of guys, but a group of people smoking cigars. And so you just heard about Jassim here in the UAE.
Yeah, so
working
one
for.
night I was out with my friends and there was somebody at another table. In fact, he didn't approach me, but he did tell my husband who was walking by. This gentleman had seen me smoking a cigar with my friends, and he had inquired to my husband about why I was smoking a cigar and nobody else was. And you must know that my husband hates cigars.
That's another interesting information. I've met him. I'm a big fan of your husband, and you're a great couple. We always have fun together, and that's what I like. I really like is that the image of a lady smoking cigars sometime with your husband. It's totally the opposite. Your husband doesn't smoke cigars,
No.
and he's not really a fan of this, but. You
He
smoke cigars.
tolerates
He
it.
tolerates it, and I like it
And
because usually
he
it's the opposite.
knows how much I enjoy the cigar ritual,
Yes.
the calming effect it has on me, which I'm sure he appreciates,
Mm-hmm.
and also the community around it.
Yes.
And even he can't argue that the cigar community is a wonderful community. And so he likes the collateral benefit of my
So he has
cigar
to cook.
posse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's the same with a lot of partners who don't smoke. Is when they see how nice the group is, and I'm sure it's the same with a lot of groups around the world.
Yeah.
Is there are people who are really happy to meet, and it's something that I must admit here I've noticed how much people are happy to sit together, smoke a cigar together. I mean, you can always stay at home and smoke a cigar unless you live in a very, very small apartments and you can't open the window. But in general, everybody can smoke at home unless you have this, small children or people really can't stand it. But you choose to go and you cannot smoke cigars with anybody. You need to be with someone that doesn't stress you. You need to be with, and you know you're going to have a good time. That's the good thing.
It can't be rushed.
No, it can't be rushed. And it's, for me, cigar smoking is like meditation. You can't meditate with people who are non-believers, basically. So you need people to respect that it is a time for meditation, a time for enjoyment. And I must say that every time we meet with a group, and there are many people, and it's usually different people each time, not everybody's there. And it's always nice. It's always nice. And everybody, and you have people from different backgrounds, totally different backgrounds.
Completely.
Religions. The other day I was thinking, there was 4 of us. I was thinking, I said, if we took a picture of the 5 of us, and we put this picture in front of a lot of people who didn't know us, say, how do these people relate? It's impossible. It looked like an old picture of the United, Benetton, the old
United
Benetton
colors of Benetton.
Exactly, United colors. And I'm thinking, we had Africans, we had 3 or 4 different religions, we had a lady, we had someone from Africa, a guy from Europe, local guys, and everybody's together, everybody's happy.
We look like a motley crew, I have to say.
Exactly.
And, when we walk into a place, people are like, what are these people doing together?
Exactly. It's impossible if you don't know what links the group together. So I want to ask you, you are in the group. I mean, there's another friend of yours who you introduced to the group, but I mean, you are most of the time the only lady.
Yeah.
And I, especially for a lot of ladies who are watching and feel, I don't want to go, all the guys, they're going to judge me. Maybe I don't smoke as much. Maybe I smoke different cigars. How do you feel, and how did you feel? I mean, this is the Gulf. We're in Abu Dhabi. It's a male dominated world. But so how is your experience? A lot of people would expect these guys to be tough, look down on you. I mean, I know them and I love each of them, and I know they are not like that. So I want you, in your own words, basically.
I mean, I just don't think the cigar community is like that. And I think it also depends on how you approach these situations. I work in what has typically been a male-dominated profession as a editor in a news organization. And it's the same there. Like you kind of get back what you put out, and I don't acknowledge it. So
Sure.
It's for me, I mean, I know there's plenty of women who approach cigars in a way that is not the way I approach cigars, which is around the sexualization of cigars and using it as a gateway to kind of be an influencer or grow their persona as a sexy person. Obviously, that is not what you see in front of you. I am just a person who likes cigars. And when we started Cigar Senoritas, it wasn't to try and get as many women as possible to smoke cigars or to create our own club where only women smoke cigars together. That would really destroy the best part of the cigar world, which is the men and other women who enjoy cigars. But it was more to just like tap in and just give a nod to anybody who might be interested to say, hey, it's okay. Look at us. We're just 2 normal women who enjoy a cigar. And, the first times that I went to the cigar club, of course, like so many men after me, I knew almost nothing. But it's also a very generous group of human beings who are, if you want to learn more, they will teach you more. If you don't want to learn more, you can stay a cigar neophyte and happily sit and
smoke.
If you have the patience, listen to a bunch of humans geek out about cigars for a couple hours.
Yes,
Because
it's true. It's true.
inevitably that's what we're going to do.
You take as much as you want, as you need. If you want,
Exactly.
and one day one moment
Yeah.
you can just stop listening, and if you've had enough of talks, but it's true.
But the best part for me is the men. So I would never try and hive off a group of women smokers.
Okay, that's interesting.
And, you know, what I love about the cigar community is when you're in a position where you're smoking cigars, it's usually quite often people who are more advanced in their career, they're a bit more worldly, they're already, you know, they have formed their own personal
They've had a life.
identity.
Yeah.
They have a good amount of life experience and probably success. And they are very likely passionate about cigars, but also about other things. And they come from, you know, success in their industry or some other part of their life. So they're all super interesting people. And it really is a fun community to be part of because of the perspectives that come into any conversation.
It's not boring, definitely. And what I also notice, first of all, I'm always happy to go, and I noticed a lot of guys in the group, they would not cancel it and they really need something really bad to happen because everybody is looking forward to it.
It's a great outlet.
Exactly. And there's
And
a lot
as
of
much
fun.
as I love to still smoke by myself and have what I like to call a me party on my balcony when I'm alone, I equally like to smoke with the guys.
So there's also some teasing sometimes because, of course, there's teasing. It's, of course, nothing to do with male versus female teasing. It's usually teasing about brands. You know,
Of
it's something
course.
some people are smoking. There are particular brands that will, you know, tell me which brand you smoke. I will tell you. I will know more about you.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of teasing about, you know, especially people who on the side smoke non-Cuban cigars. You know, so these people usually, you know, they always say, like me, I need to try, I need to see, you know, if somebody can do as better as Cuba. So there's some teasing, but it's always done in a good way.
Of course.
Yes. So we talked about this. It's true that we get sometimes videos, pictures of girls smoking the cigars, and they're not there for the cigars. You can tell the way they smoke. There's something. That bothers me because for me it's bad for women like you who like their cigars because then it shows women as using the cigar as a sort of a, you know, sexual tool, and it's not good. I think it's useless, but that's the side.
I think it's cheap,
Yes.
but I think they also, I mean, the people in this community are smart enough to spot that, I think. And, you know, who doesn't like a pretty lady? Of course, that's fine. I have nothing to sell, so I don't really care about it. I think that it's a bit sad that such a beautiful product is used as a
Me too.
way to promote sex, because it's not really for somebody who really appreciates all the hard work and dedication that goes into creating a single stick, to then see it used to sort of as a way, a conveyor belt to getting likes on Instagram. It's kind of a shame.
Yes.
And not at all what our efforts are with Cigar Senoritas. We're just normal people who want to smoke and learn more about cigars.
Someone told me a few weeks ago, if you want to have more views on Instagram or YouTube, bring some girls around, put some alcohols on the table and champagne.
So you got a memo, but you did it all wrong, Laurent.
No, but for me,
I'm
it's
not gonna
the
sell.
point. It's not the point. It's not the point for me because it's cheap. It's very cheap, and I want to talk about cigars. If there are only 10 people watching the video, then it will still be 10 people that are interested. But for me, it's true that nowadays the trend, and we see with the music stars, you need to have champagne and naked people dancing. And
I'm not taking off my clothes for this video.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's so.
Oh, I was going to put on my hat
thank you.
To pay homage to
Cigar Senoritas.
The Habano News look. So I have my
Cigar Senoritas.
Cigar Senoritas hat.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I didn't want you to chapeau alone.
The chapeau alone. Thank you. Thank you. So I asked the guys in the group, and I said to them, okay, you've met Laura, of course, who hasn't met you in the group. How do you see her? Do you see her as a girl smoking cigars? And the answer was very straightforward. I mean, you're a guy in the group, basically. You see what I mean? They don't see you as a, as I said, it's not like you're playing football, and you have like your sister who wants to play with the boys, and you have to say to your friend, listen, my sister, she's a girl. You see, when you were little, it's not a girl smoking cigar. It's not a girl smoking cigar. It's a girl who happens to smoke cigar. So for everybody in the group, they don't see you differently. They don't talk to you differently, and also they don't. You don't. How could I say? There isn't. That I'm going to try to find the right words. It's not because a lady would come in the cigar scene, smoke maybe thinner cigars out of choice, that she would have to feel embarrassed because, Jassim, for example, loves Fondadoras. We know a friend Yusuf loves Fondadoras. I mean, they're slimmer cigars. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to smoke. There is no girl cigars.
No, not at all.
You like strong cigars? I mean, this is a strong cigar.
Look at my cigar. It's not being very kind to me.
No, what is it?
I think it's a user error. I'm too distracted.
Probably it's the icon to find one way.
I think for me, oddly, the opposite happened. So when I entered the group, I was only smoking really quite strong cigars like Maduro. It was my favorite, and I smoked it most often, especially before the prices skyrocketed, and now we all have to be a bit more judicious about how many Cohiba Maduros we smoke. But my appreciation for lighter cigars actually came later. So as my understanding of cigars grew, so did my understanding of when I preferred to smoke different strengths of cigars or different profiles of cigars. And that's one of the things that came out of kind of being part of a community where I could learn more. That, and I was coerced into participating in the Habanos World Challenge to represent the UAE, which was a crazy proposition for somebody like me who was very much a novice. But my friend Mo, my fellow Cigar Senorita, and I embraced the challenge with a clear goal not to come last. And it was really where my education, the foundation of my education of everything about cigar production, marketing.
You had to read the Habanos book very quickly.
Read that Habanos book and sign up for the app and understand the history of the brands, the sizes, the everything about cigars, and do the practice quizzes and prepare ourselves. And through that process, it was sort of like cramming for school to learn so much more. And it really elevated me and my appreciation and my passion to the next level. And having sort of that foundation to talk with more authority about cigars, even now when we're welcoming people, like it's fun when you meet somebody new to understand quite quickly what their understanding of cigars is, what their palate is, what they gravitate to, and what you can know about a person based on how, what, and when they smoke.
Exactly. So if somebody comes
fun.
to you and say to you, by the way, I only smoke Baikes, if you go into a group, I think that's the worst thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, I would be very suspicious of that person.
Yes. So yes, usually a good advice to join a group, whether you're a lady or a man, be humble,
Exactly.
because you would be surprised sometimes.
And the truth is that when I'm in a group, you know, you can tell people who are new to the group and they bring their best cigar and they want to show everybody that, oh, I have this amazing cigar. And it's great. Like, of course, people should do whatever they want. I totally support it. But for me, if I have a really special cigar, I actually prefer to smoke it alone so that I don't get distracted in a conversation and forget to think about what I'm smoking. So,
Yes.
I mean, people are different. But for me, it's like if I really don't want to forget about my cigar and enjoy every minute and really understand the cigar, it's a solo act.
Yeah, I agree.
So when I go to group, usually I'm smoking, unless it's something like an occasion or I feel like I've really earned it to smoke something special. I smoke some of the old standbys.
Yeah, something you know, and you know.
Cigars.
Yeah, exactly. So, what? Tell us about the brands you like, the brands you don't smoke, because we're all different.
Mm-hmm.
I rarely smoke Romeo and Julieta myself, and I discovered my son was very similar, and we never talked about this. One day he said, "You don't smoke Romeo and Julieta?" I said, "No." He said, "I don't either."
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's, I don't know, maybe it's genetic, maybe there's something. So
I think that, well, okay, here's a funny thing, right? Because I also am very open to cigars and they change and I change and this is just how it works. So I hadn't smoked a Romeo and Julieta for a long time, the odd one here and there, but certainly I didn't seek them out. Then when we came back from Cuba, I was stuffing all my cigars into my humidor and I found some very old ones that I'd forgotten about. And I was like, well, I may as well try one of these old White Churchills. But it must have been like 7 or 8 years old. And it was so good.
yes, I agree. All right.
So
Okay, I will make two
I was
exceptions.
like, you know what? Like, it's not my go-to. I don't buy boxes of Romeo and Juliet, but
I have
there
this
it was. And it gave me a big fat kiss.
Exactly. There are brands you never tend to go for them. Like me, I mean, Right Churchill is an exception, and the Cazadores from Romeo and Julieta, which is such a strong cigar,
yeah, it's good.
and very, very interesting. I mean, really, I like the strength. I like it's earthy.
It has a roundedness.
Yes, you know, it's a bit wild. So I like it. But so, what other brands would you like to?
Well, I mean, my desert island cigar would be a Hoyo de Monterrey double Corona, because I think that if I had to smoke one cigar for the rest of my life, this would be the one that has the greatest story. It's like smoking 3 cigars in one. So that would be my cigar before I die would probably be Maduro.
Maduro.
And my brands that I like the most are Cohiba, Trinidad, Hoyo, Partagas. I love Boulevard.
Of course, if you like strong cigar. Then.
And the corollary is I am just not a fan of punch.
Okay.
I've never loved a punch.
I think we've all
Everybody has tried to find me a punch I will love. And the first fella who manages points to him.
Okay, we'll have to find something, discontinued, maybe age, and will make you change your mind.
Who knows?
Okay, so how do you see, because I mean, as I told you, the ratio I see in the ladies watching the videos, whether mine or Jacin's, it's usually 90-10, men 90%, 10. So that's 10%. It seems okay. It seems all right, the ratio, 10 to 9, 1, 10%, 90%. It seems to be right. Not surprising. And ladies smoking versus men smoking.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty reflective of what we see in the cigar community.
Yeah.
But I would also say that one of the things that's cool about the cigar world is how dominant women are in the creation and curation and sales of cigars. People rolling those cigars, it's 90% women.
It's true.
The people selling the cigars is probably 80% women. And the people marketing the cigars have a strong influence of women. So even some of the cigar companies are represented at the highest levels by women. So while the end user might be on the lower end, certainly on the business side, there is a much higher representation.
Something we noticed, and I'm sure you noticed at the Festival del Habano, is how, I mean, there are a lot of women.
Yes.
There were a lot of...
At the festival, when you narrow down to Cigar Geekville, there's a much higher than 10%.
But probably it was reassuring for you in a way, not that you need, to be reassured, but it was
I don't need that validation, but it is great for me to see that there's other women who enjoy cigars like I do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because the people who are interested in using it as a vice to, get access to cigar events or to get likes on Instagram, you're not going to find those people in Cuba at the festival. These are people with a true appreciation. And those are my kind of people, Those are, again, it's like I'm a bit gender blind when it comes to cigars, but I would invite a gentleman to have a cigar for the first time, and I would invite a woman to have a cigar for the first time. But, of course, I always pay more attention to, for example, the wives of our friends who come and they maybe haven't even been offered a cigar before, to invite them to try it, because often they will try it and they either love it or they really don't love it. But at least coming from me, they have more likelihood to try it for the first time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
so
also reassuring.
I feel like that's kind of my role as somebody in the cigar community with slightly different human plumbing, where I can sort of bridge that unseen kind of.
So it's not a male-only group. Ladies are welcome. Don't feel that you will be judged by some women or wives thinking, oh, she's trying to get, into the male group. It's not that at all. And I mean, you're a good example of it. And at the festival, there were three Hombre Habano titles given. One was our friend Jassim. There was also a lady.
Yes.
And in the production, I think it's always been men because they are farmers. And I have so far never met a lady farmer. There's probably wives doing the same job, even work and harder, and also taking care of the kids. But they didn't get titles. But the business title went to a lady who's managing a shop.
Exactly.
So it shows that ladies are there not only for smoking cigars, but they're, as you said, in the
They
business.
have a strong presence.
The boss of the distributor in the UK, Hunters and Franco, is Gemma, and she's a lady. And so the ladies are coming there, and I don't think now there is a strange feeling, and it's definitely there to stay and probably to grow.
I think so too. I mean, these sorts of barriers, I think it's just one of those things where the more women who pick it up, try it, and like it, the more other women will emulate and try it. So really, I just like to be a gateway to the possibility of cigar women, smoking for women. I'm not going to be preaching about it or starting a separate club just for women. These are not my aims.
Exactly.
Is just to say, like, this is just a thing that you can do and a thing that is wonderful, a thing that you might appreciate, that might bring you some comfort and some serenity, and you might just really enjoy it, you know?
So, I would expect ladies starting in to smoke cigars. It's like a man starting to smoke a cigar. I don't think there is a cigar to start as a lady and one as a man.
You know what? When I meet somebody who has never smoked a cigar, and this goes for women, but also, you know, some guys in our group might bring a younger brother or a friend to the cigar group, and you can tell that they're just like a little bit intimidated because we're sitting around in these nice lounge chairs with the dark light and all our well-groomed men with hats
and accessories.
It's a bit overwhelming for not just for a woman, but for somebody who's new to the environment. And it doesn't matter who they are. I usually offer them the same, what I call the gateway cigar. What would you offer as a gateway cigar?
I would offer an Epicure number 2.
Which is exactly what I offer as a gateway cigar.
Yes,
because it's a comfortable cigar. It's not too strong. It's very smooth. And if they're going to like cigars at all, they will like this cigar.
Exactly. So it's
not like a girly cigar.
Not at all.
I would say it's a gateway cigar. And I offer that one.
So
routinely.
I think it's interesting to say that a lot of us, I started with a cigar and I always smoked the cigar for a long, long time. Didn't even look at other cigars. I was, like people buying cigarettes, I would buy my Monte Cristo number 4 and smoke that. And I think it's like, in a way, it's like food. You don't eat the same thing every day because you can get a bit bored and you don't notice the taste anymore. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important to, as you say, we change from, winter to summer, moods, and there are cigars. The aim of smoking a cigar is to make you feel better. Maybe you need a bit of meditation, time for yourself, and you need something that doesn't there's no aggression. And sometimes you're going for something heavy. Sometimes you feel like something more gentle. It's like food. It's like food. You don't always go for the big burger or the big piece of meat. There sometimes you want something
I
more
had this experience this week where I went out with some friends from work and they couldn't understand why I was looking at all my cigars. And they're like, well, how many are you going to smoke? I'm like, I'm just going to smoke one. And they're like, well, why did you bring so many? I was like, well, I have to see how I'm feeling. I have to select the right cigar for right now.
Exactly.
And they were like, aren't they just all the same thing? And I'm like, oh
no. It's a different.
I need to choose what's going to really
let the cigar talk to you a little
vibe
bit.
with me
Exactly.
right now.
And then and it's true, until you open your case, your
You
cigar
don't
holder.
always remember what's there.
Exactly.
So you have to like
Sometimes you feel
do an assessment.
And sometimes you think you brought something but you didn't.
Which is what happened to me this week. I had in my mind what I wanted and it wasn't there. I'm like, okay, pivot.
Yes.
No problem.
Yes. And then, you look at your cigars and they're talking to you in a way. Mm-hmm. And it might sound ridiculous to some people.
Of course.
But they're talking to you and you're like, yes, this is exactly what I need. I want to go through. It's like a trip. You're going through the trip. It can be a Bolivar. It can be, as you said, Hoyo de Monterrey. And of course, the time of the day. It's never the time of the day. And I don't think there's a difference between women and men. It's really the way you feel, It's the way you feel. I like you dress up in the morning.
Choose your outfit.
You choose your outfit.
Choose your beverage. Yeah. Everything is just, it's a puzzle of how everything's going to fit together. And with cigars, it's usually based on your mood, the time of day, what you've eaten or not eaten, when you're going to eat next. These are all.
Thank you very much for your time. I think we can both agree that ladies can smoke cigars.
100%. There's not a doubt in my mind.
And they should if they want to. And if at least try
it. Like my message from if I put on my Cigar Senoritas hat is give it a try. If you don't like it, don't continue. But at least give it a try.
Yes. And don't go at the beginning for something too strong.
No.
Because the experience might be a bit too tough.
Just
exactly.
Ease in.
Yes.
You don't have to smoke the biggest cigar or the smallest cigar. Just try something.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was going to make a bad joke. I was going to say size doesn't matter. I'm sorry.
We never hear that joke in Cigar Club.
No, never. No, so I didn't say that. But yeah, don't feel like, if you try even a little panetella, it doesn't matter. You won't be judged if you smoke a $8 cigar or if you bring a $200 or $300 cigar. It doesn't really matter. It won't impress anybody.
Nobody's going to be impressed.
No,
it's more about how you appreciate the cigar.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Is there anything you want to talk about? Or
no, I'm I was hoping that as this conversation progressed, I would think of something that was clearly something that divides men and women in the experience of cigars. But I have not thought of one thing. No. Have you thought of one thing?
No. We've sat next to each other in plenty of events, dinners, drinks, evenings, and so on. And nothing comes to my mind. And I hope it's reassuring for some ladies who maybe looked at it as should I get in? How do I get in? Just open register to an event, open the door and introduce yourself.
Join us. Yeah. Reach out on Cigar Senoritas. I will personally give you your first cigar.
I will. I'm putting the Instagram.
Fantastic.
On the screen so that ladies and gentlemen follow
Absolutely.
And I like the way you write because you're extremely good at writing. It's your job, but still, it's always interesting to see, what you post and share. So thank you very much again, and
Thanks for having me.
we'll see you for another cigar after dinner,
Definitely.
inshallah.
I'm there.
Thank you.